Plotting money moves over cigar talk. With some ladies that's chill over cigar talk. Cognac sipping rum over cigar talk. Spend a few stacks over cigar talk.
Yo, what's going on, world? This is your boy Najee from rapradar.com. And today, man, I got a very special guest, man. This brother seated to my left, he came to pull up on me all the way from the West Coast. I got TDE's newest signee, my man Reason. What's going on, G?
What up with you, dog?
How's everything, man?
Man, it's been good, man.
That's what's up. Now, it's usually love on my side. I seen you talking crazy about the Knicks yesterday on Twitter. I don't know. It's beef right now, bro.
Yeah, I know. That was my first Knicks game I caught this season.
Oh, you went to the game?
No, I was just watching. I was just chilling, watching, but it was my first Knicks game I was able to watch, and I'm a big basketball fan. I don't know what's going on right now.
Nah, you got to give us a pass. Porzingis is out right now, you know what I'm saying?
I feel it, yeah.
But I know you a ball player, though, right? Like,
yeah,
you went
I used to play, but I don't like to say ball player no more because it ain't
a
that.
little rusty down.
It ain't that. You feel me? Yeah.
Well, when you say, because like you said, when you say ball, is it like you really balling for real?
I played in college. I was in a small D2. Yeah.
You went to was it Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa. Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was different, like a culture shock. You know what I mean? Just coming from where I was from. You know what I mean? And just like just everything, the demographic, slow speed as far as city goes. Everything closed at like 8 o'clock. It was just all the way different, bro. All the way different.
You by yourself? I think they said you were the only black guy on the team.
The first year I was the only black guy on the team. Yeah, second year they went and got some more dudes from Cali. Yeah. But so I've never even played against a team that didn't have at least one black guy. Yeah, exactly. And I was literally the only black guy on the team. You feel me? So just a different experience, but I feel like it helped me grow up a lot.
Yeah. In what way?
Yeah, just as far as like knowing what's important. You know what I mean? Like leaving home, and you know when you leave home, you think you got 40, 50 close friends, and then you get out there, you realize family important, or this is important. This means a lot to me. This doesn't matter as much. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing a different lifestyle as far as what I grew up in. You kind of realizing, what you really want to do or what really makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in a place where you need all the happiness you can get because it's a culture shock. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot about myself out there.
So what's the transition between like, going from like, I'm bowling seriously, I'm in college. I know they said you had an offer from Greece to go play overseas.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To kind of just leaving that alone to like, I want to rap like full time. Like how did that happen?
It was different. Like it was, it made me kind of feel like at first, because basketball was my life. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like a situation where I had to accept the fact that I didn't make it as far in this as I wanted to, and am I really gonna put it down, because then I almost feel like I fell in the way. You get what I'm saying? And so I had to get over that mentality first, just knowing that now you just fell in love with something else, and then get used, and then try to convince all the people that knew me in LA. Everybody knew me for hoop, right? So it's like me telling them I rap, they laughing and stuff. They're like, bro, like, bro, if you don't go overseas, like, you feel me, like, what are you doing? Right. And so having to overcome that, you know what I mean, and work through that, and then finally get to a point to where they actually respect, like, nah, he could rap, you know what I mean? So it was just like a long transition. Probably took like a year and a half, 2 years to finally get people to start looking at me as an artist. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's been love though ever since.
What do you think it was? Do you think it's just like you as an artist from coming, like you was just straight bowling hard to artist makes the transition difficult, or was it just like the raps was weak in the beginning?
Just,
like what was
I
that?
just think it's what people get used to seeing you as. You know what I'm saying? Like people just get like, for example, now like when I tell people that I hoop, people don't even believe me, because now a lot of people know
see you as the rapper.
You get what I'm saying? Like so it's the same thing. It's like people just didn't. It's just what they know you as. If you used to somebody being one way and then they come and do something completely different that they've never even thought would be on your radar, they're just not rocking. Like they're just not thinking that's so. It's something that they're not taking you seriously on. You know what I'm saying? They take a lot of support and you growing, and then once people see that you out here really making moves, now they're like, oh, okay, like he actually does. You know what I mean? He's doing that. You feel me? So
no, I feel that. I mean, I feel like we all had hope dreams at one point. I thought I was gonna go to the league till I played against Lance Stevenson one time in high school. I was like, damn, I'm not good enough.
I was about to say how that go.
Nah, not good at all.
I played against Jennings in the Drew League. I was telling Kim that, and he gave me like 35, but the bad part about that was that when I met him through some hoop shit later, he ain't even remember he gave me 35. So it was like
regular day, like I'm just out here.
He was just like, my bad, bro. Like I'm sorry, like you feel me? You caught that on a bad day.
No, I feel that. Yeah, so tell me, how was you growing up? You went to college, you graduated from school, right? Now, how did your parents kind of take to the idea of like you being a rapper, right? Like you're coming out, you graduate from college. Facts. I feel like it's not a lot of parents that want to hear like, yo, my son's about to rap after he graduated school.
Not at all. I didn't tell my parents for like the first year. I didn't tell them at all, just because I knew already what that reaction was going to be. Yeah. So I didn't tell them until I started kind of like gaining a little momentum. But even still, after I started gaining momentum, they looked at it as, all right, that's all good, but like you need to figure it out. You know what I mean, job. So I had a full-blown job before I got signed. Like,
what was you doing?
I was a recruiter at a tech company called Tech Systems, and pretty much we were the middleman to get you like hired. Like if you're in IT and you trying to work for Mercedes-Benz, we got you hired at Mercedes-Benz. That's pretty much what we did. Okay. And I was working like from 7 in the morning to 6, and then leaving and going to the studio and just trying to, you know what I mean, figure it out. So. It's funny, when I signed, my mom don't really know much about TDE and stuff. So when I signed it, I told her like, "Yo, I'm about to sign the TDE, this and that." She's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, baby. Just make sure it fits your work schedule." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was her like reaction to it. You feel me? And then she started doing her homework and whatnot, and called me a week later and knew everything about TDE. Like, so now she know everything. You feel me? She know what everybody. She like low-key a stalker. It's kind of crazy a little bit. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's interesting. So tell me about like just just the home life, right? Like you coming up. I know you. I think you lived in LA first. Was it LA and then you moved to Carson?
I was born in South Central and then moved to Carson when we was like 7 years old. Yeah.
And you got a twin brother?
I got a twin brother. Yeah, that's my dog.
Did y'all do like the fly twin shit? Like, and I always wanted a twin to like do some like switch classes. Nah,
we switched classes until I got like a 27% on the test for him.
Yeah. Oh, he was like, "Nah, you gotta hold that down."
Yeah. So he was like, "We're not doing that no more." But we've done other stuff though too, like as far as just like tickets and getting out of tickets. Like we used to do this shit where I get a speeding ticket, and then I pretty much go to the court and say it was him, but I ain't seen him since I was 7.
Right.
And he just taking my identity and they throw the ticket
out.
That?
Oh, that's
fire.
Yeah,
they throw the ticket out. So,
damn, see,
so hopefully I don't see that.
Right.
So we done did stuff like that, but yeah, that's my dog though. Yeah, he coached at USC, coached football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. So how was the transition? Like you said you moved out of LA and moved to Carson. What was the reason kind of that?
When we was in South Central, just a lot of stuff happening that my mom didn't want me growing up around. And then actually one of my neighbors at the time actually shot his wife in the back, like in front of everybody. Everybody was outside and whatnot. Wow. And right there, my mom came home from work. And she packed us all up, and we was living out of a hotel for like 2 months. So she was just going, trying to figure out.
How old were you at this point?
I was 7. And she was just trying to figure out where can we live at that don't got all this stuff going on. Right. And then next thing I know, she found this crib in Carson, and it was a 2-story. It was kind of like beat up a little bit, but it was like a fixer-upper. Right. And we ended up moving over there. About a year later, it caught fire on Christmas, burned down, but we had home insurance.
Oh, so it was lit after that, right?
It was lit after that, you feel me? So now we had this dope crib in Carson, which is like the medium point. It's like it's still enough of the hood to where you get certain aspects of it, but I could have a childhood. I could go outside. But it ain't South Central. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go outside and have a life and whatnot. So
right. So being that, I mean, obviously, right? Like we're seeing everything kind of unfold for you right now. Like you're in that moment. Signing the TDE. How impactful were those guys? Just kind of while you're living your life, listening to music and culture. How impactful were they to you?
100%. To start off where I'm at is Soul. You feel me? I used to
Carson, buy, right? Soul
exactly. Yeah, okay. I used to buy T-shirts from Absol. He used to work at a place called Magic Disc, and that's where they sold the Pro 5 joints when we used to wear them all big and shit like that. Right. So Soul used to sell those. So I used to buy T-shirts from him. So us seeing Soul go from who we used to just be like, oh, we about to go buy T-shirts from the Black Lip dude up at Magic Disc. Right. From us seeing him go from that to watching him on the BET Awards and all this other stuff, we bugging out. You know what I mean? We like, damn, this is crazy. You feel me? Like I
see that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? To see that from the ground up, and then we see J-Rock and the van driving around with his face on it, and we see everything that he doing. So it was huge for us just in the city. Like a lot of people don't know, TDE is based in Carson. Like the actual headquarters is based in Carson or whatever, where it started at. So we saw it all. You know what I mean? And so to be now a part of that, it's almost like a kid getting drafted to the Lakers. Like you playing in LA and you got drafted to the Lakers. It's like
that's a
the city on fire. Like, exactly. Like when everybody heard the city's on fire because they just like our number one dude that we was rocking for in the underground. Like TDE picked him up. You feel me? That's dope. You know what I mean? So it's been a good feeling.
All right. So before we even get into the whole TDE scene, I think one of the things that's kind of interesting for you is just you relate to a lot of people, like the story of trying to just grind to get to that moment, right?
That's
like there's so many people that are watching this and they're just like, damn, I'm running this underground scene. I don't know what the fuck to do. Exactly. How do I get to the next level?
100%.
Talk to me about this. I guess that time frame, like, right? You balling, you kind of like you overball a little bit, and you just like, yo, I want to rap. Like how do you start off? What's the where do you go?
No, that's real. I mean, first you start off internally just from confidence wise. Like I said, you're not used to doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Like so you have to convince yourself that this is what you want to do. Yeah. And so that took me like 5 to 6 months just to convince myself, like, yo, you know, I'm good enough to do this. You feel me? And my brother had a lot to do with that. He used to always help me as far as confidence and telling me, like, nah, this is hard. Like, this is just as good as anybody else putting it out. You know what I mean? And we got the smarts, we educated, we know how to attack this from a business standpoint. We could actually make this something real. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just out here making music and just passing CDs out. We're doing it the right way. So I think a big misconception that a lot of artists have is that people are supposed to rock with you. And it's like, nah, I bought a CD from a dude outside of Target the other day. He charged me $20 for the CD. I'm like, he's bugging.
$20? That was in New York?
Like Kendrick just don't cost $20. I was in LA. It was in LA. Right. But I was just saying, like, you know, I bought it because I wanted to support, but at the same time, I'm just like, he don't even understand that just somebody listening to it is support. So, you know, you have to understand that first as an upcoming artist, that every ear is support. It's not about the money you make. Like, you working for the long run. The average business take $30,000 to start off. I majored in business. So the average business take $30,000 to start off. Music ain't an average business. So it probably take 50, 60, 70 bands to get you to where you even remotely trying to go. And a lot of artists don't understand that this is a pay-to-play game. You can't just make music and tag a bunch of people on social media. That's what everybody's doing. You know what I'm saying? You got to put your money behind you, you know, support yourself, or find somebody else that believes in you, that got that bag to support it, and try to really build it up to make noise, you know what I mean, in order to do it. But all the fishing for that one person to just change your life, that's a 1 in 200 million chance that the right person is going to click a link online and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that it don't happen like that.
So where'd you get that initial bag from, just to be able to start and kind of sustain being able to put out music? Or because, like, at what point is this? Like, what year was this when you
this is when I first got signed, or what?
Like when you first started really trying to rap seriously? Like,
oh, I started from the job. As soon as I started rapping, I was putting money behind myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from working. But I got the bag from me. Like, I worked and I put all my money behind it. Like I didn't have a license for like 3 years because I wasn't paying tickets. I was just putting all my money behind music. My brother put money behind me. And my cousin put money behind me. So all three of us were just throwing money into a hat whenever we had it.
I like that, man, because like a lot of times, you know, especially in the game, like you hear stories like, you know, you was hustling in the street, or you found somebody that was trapping and put the bread up.
Times I wish I was selling drugs.
You know what I'm saying?
For some of that. No, I was going to work. I was going to work every single day.
That's fire. That's dope, man. I mean, so tell me about, because I know I got a chance to listen to this project, the project that you dropped. And I know you had there was a song where you were like, you know, Fonz went to jail and he taught you how to rap.
Yeah.
Who's Fonz? Like,
Fonz is my brother's old receiver coach in college. And so when I first started messing around like with Pro Tools and just kind of like freestyling and whatnot, I was still hooping at the time, so I wasn't taking rap serious. But Fonz was teaching me the technical part about rap, like about rhyming syllables and storytelling and all. He was just teaching me that, but it was only because I was interested. It wasn't because I was really rapping. I was still hooping, but we would leave my brother's practice and go to the studio with him just because we like music. And Fonz, you know, he ended up teaching me how to rap, like just the technical part of it. But then Fonz ended up getting hit, you know, with a case, and he'd been locked up for like the last 8 years or something like that, which is why every tape I always say, you know, free my nigga Fonz or something like that, because he's still locked up. But yeah, he put me on game and just kind of taught me how, like, the technical side of it and how to rap. You know what I mean? I just kind of always remembered it. Didn't even know what he was preparing me for because I wasn't even thinking about doing music at the time. Okay, so as you're in this, you know, you're in this scene, you're building it up. I know, you know, you mentioned like you were having label meetings and they were telling you stuff like, yo, you know, you got to dye your hair, or your social media presence ain't up. And how does that feel? Because like we're in the era 2018 where it's like it feels like all the new guys that are really winning is coming out. They got colored dreads, they got the face tats. You like a clean cut kind of dude. So like how did you kind of rationalize that with yourself? It was almost like a new rapper uniform that they like, you know what I mean, that they looked at it as, and like I'm not even gonna say the label, but like I was actually in a label meeting one time and they was asking me like, do you gangbang? Like if you don't, is there anything you can be affiliated with that we could like? So that's like a real thing. You know what I mean? Like that's like a real thing. And it was just crazy to me because I'm like, y'all hear the music, you hear what I'm talking about, and you rock with it. But the only reason why you're not stamping me is because I don't have a bunch of followers, or because I don't have a bunch of money, or I don't got jewelry, and all. Like that's the only reason that you're not rocking with me is because like it would be going great until we bring up my social media or until we bring up my YouTube. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until I met with Top that it was
just like the numbers wasn't up high
enough. The numbers wasn't up. You know what I'm saying? So we would play music for like 15 minutes. and then we would talk about numbers for like an hour. And then when I met with Top, we played music for like an hour and a half, and we didn't even talk about numbers. Like, I don't even think Top knew what my social media, I don't even think Top knew if I had an Instagram at the time, like when we first met, you know what I mean? Like, because he just didn't care. Top looked at it as, I can give you the followers, I can give you the platform, but I can't give you the music. I can't make you rap at a high level, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't make you make good songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how Top looked at it, and I mean, that's a big reason why TDE is where they are now. They still believe in the music.
How discouraging was that, right? Like, to hear, because I know, you know, you mentioned in the music, like, yo, you know, I'm dope as fuck. I know I'm dope, and it's like they're not getting it. How
100%.
just discouraging is that to know, like, man, I'm trying to get to the next level, and they're not paying attention because of numbers and social media and that.
Nah, it could kill your spirit, especially because, like, we're throwing our own shows, we putting on our own events, and they're packed. And then you telling me that I don't have enough support, and I'm like, bruh, like, we just had a, you know, and it's on a smaller level, of course, but I'm like, we just had a show.
What size venues is he doing, like 200-300 people?
Like, yeah, like 200-300, but you know, for an underground person, that's huge. You feel me? I'm like, bro, like, we packing out 200-300 venues, and you telling me that people aren't gonna take to my music. I just need to reach more people. You know what I mean? And so it'll break your spirit, because you just like, well, what do you need me to do? You need me to buy fake followers? Like, what do you need me to do to be able to have these quote unquote numbers? And then you seeing these guys with the numbers that don't necessarily got the talent, but maybe, you know, they was, you know, that nigga somewhere else or did something else that now they got the attention and they getting the looks, you know what I mean? And you just like, it's hard on your spirit, it's hard on your soul, and you're just trying to figure out, you know, how do I change that? How do I make people respect me without losing myself in the process? You know what I'm saying? So
is that something you worry about now? Because, like, you know, you're in a space, like I said, you have an opportunity to really start to make noise. Facts. And it's growing and it's bubbling. 100%. But like we said, we still in the era where it's like, you know, the music and the culture, just the age gap is shifted, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, I know some people, it's like, you know, the young kids, like, they don't even care about bars as much as they used to. And this type of deal. Does that kind of stuff play into your mind, like, when you're thinking about the brand of Reason?
It does, but it's two things about that. First is about the people around you. So it's dope. Like, both of my managers come from where I come from as far as background, and we understand each other. I can trust them. I can argue with them. I can speak to them any type of way, and we know it's all love. And that's the same thing with my friends. So that's the first thing it comes to, is having people around you that's going to always tell you the truth. And then the second thing it comes to is also understanding that there is two sides of it. Like, even though I love bars and, you know, how hip hop was originally, like, these kids got a point. Like, you can't be boring. You can't sound too, you know, old school. Like, you do have to meet halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not all about, I don't even want to listen to nobody just rap for 7-8 minutes. Yeah, it's not that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you do have to understand that these kids do have a point. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely have a point as far as the music goes, and we have to kind of meet somewhere in the middle. Like, you know, they need to learn a little bit from us, but we definitely need to learn a little bit from them and understand that if we can make that mesh and make that work, like, it could be beautiful. Like, I'm not for the whole conversation of mumble rap versus, where, like, I don't believe in that. I feel like Uzi should be working with codes and stuff. Like, I feel like it would be dope, and I just don't feel like nobody's pushing that agenda. And I think that, you know, people do need to push that agenda more, because they're making really dope music and they selling records regardless of what you want to say, you know what I mean? And we are too, but it don't need to be that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Don't need to be that.
Well, I mean, you definitely have a unique style, man. Like I said, I was listening to the project. The Fuck With Me record is hard. I like that joint. That joint goes off. And I know you said, like, just in the process of, you know, you kind of getting signed to TDE, Keem was real instrumental on you know, kind of putting that up.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I had a childhood friend. His name is Tyrone, and he's Keem's nephew. And so he put Keem on my music. And when Keem first heard it, he was like, okay, dude can rap, but like, the music not all the way there. You know what I'm saying? And so Tyrone just kind of stayed on his line. And, you know, I thank God actually for Keem, because if Keem would have took my music to Top at that moment, you know, Top is very first impression based, and I wasn't ready at that point, even though I thought I was ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was times where I'm like, man, it's, like, Keem don't, like, he don't get it. Like, I'm nice. You feel me? Like, but it's like, I thank God that he didn't do that, because he waited until he saw the build. You know what I mean? And then Keem being who he was, we threw a show for There You Have It, because There You Have It is a re-release. It's not the first time it's coming out. Right. And we threw a show, and Keem bought 20 tickets to the show right when it dropped, and then just brought people. Like, all right, bet, if they don't believe me, I'm gonna bring people out, you know. And then that's when he brought in Musa, and Musa saw me live. And when Musa saw me live, he was just like, yo, this dude, like, he has it.
And Musa is Top Dawg's son?
Top Dawg's son, yeah. Top's oldest son, if I'm all the way correct. But yeah, so Musa, we met And then it's funny when I met Musa, because I'm going through all these label meetings and whatnot, I don't believe Musa. Like, so when Musa hit me,
did you know who he was though? Like, you knew what
I didn't
it was?
know, because I just knew he was affiliated with TDE. But I knew, being in the city, you know, everybody's affiliated with TDE.
So
you know what I'm saying?
right,
like, that's just what it is. You feel me? Everybody's affiliated with TDE. So when I met Musa, and he was asking me like, yo, can you set up a studio session so you can play me some records? Like, I like what you got, but I want to hear some more stuff. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I'm not spending no more money. Like, you can come pull up on one of my sessions. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm looking at it.
Right.
But also another thing, I thank God for Musa, because like, he could have just played me off like, this dude cocky, but Musa understood mentally what I was going through. And so, you know, Musa pulled up on me. Well, no, he didn't pull up on me. He didn't make it to that session, but he was like, yo, pull up on me in Carson. And once I got to the Carson house in Carson and walked in, and I saw the couch, because I studied TDE, I saw the couch, I saw the posters and the studio rules, and when I was like, yo, like, this is for real, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I'm thankful that he didn't write me off, and I played music for Musa for like an hour, and then we just all three of us started working together, hitting the ground running after that. And it was maybe like a month and a half later, they walked me in the top, and I got signed.
So kind of bring me to that point, right? Like, you meeting up with Top. Now, Top kind of like in the industry, he's like this mythical figure, right? Like, we don't really hear from him.
He's Bigfoot.
He's just the big,
Top is Bigfoot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just see the red hat, this big dude, we know he blood affiliate, but we don't know nothing about him. Like, we just hear about him. What was your first impressions? Like, you're in the room, you know he is, you know, he could change your life. You're in this spot. He's listening to your music. Paint that picture for me.
We walk into the house. It's me, my brother, and my boy LT. And we walk into the house, and Musa and Keem, I'm not sure. I think they were already there, or they could have been coming still. But we're sitting in the living room for like an hour. Top is actually having a meeting with SZA. We don't know SZA at the time. We just in the living room, just chilling. Yeah. And so we there for like an hour, and then Top walks out. SZA walks out, greets SZA, and then we walk in with Top. And Top like, yeah, you know, Moose told me that, you know, you could rap a little bit, you feel me? So I want to hear some records or whatever. Right. So we start playing records, and I mean, we playing records for like an hour, bro. And Top he didn't nod his head not one time, bro. Like, so I'm like, we're blowing this. Like, this is not going.
Like, damn,
like, bro, this is not going good at all in no type of way, shape, or form. You feel me? And then it wasn't until we actually got to Fuck With Me, like, because I played all the new stuff after There You Have It, and then I played Fuck With Me. And that was the first time that he nodded his head. Like, and I mean, the whole time he texting, he talking to Moose. Like, I don't even know if he listening. Right. But Moose is texting me, and he's like, bro, if he didn't like it, he would have walked out by now. But I'm not buying it, because I'm like, he don't look like he's interested. Right. And we played Fuck With Me. That was the first time that he kind of bobbed his head, and he was like, this record hard. So I'm like, all right, so this is the only record he likes out of the 30 that I played already. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we exchanged information. He downloads There You Have It on his phone. And he's like, you know, I'll be in touch. And when we leave, you know, Moose tells me, like, you know, yo, like, trust me, like, it was a good meeting. It might take 6-7 months down the line. We just got to keep working, but you're on his radar now. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe 3 days later, Moose was hitting me, telling me that he wanted me to pull up again on him and J-Rock. And then me and J-Rock did a joint together, like the first night that we met. But I guess it was like a test. Top wanted to see me write something on the spot. Like, let me see how he works on the spot. Right. And then after that, like,
what was that session like though? Like, you in there with J-Rock, you know, J-Rock being there with the goons, you know what I'm saying? I know, like, what was that like?
To be honest, have you heard the record The Soul? That
absolutely.
That was the first night I wrote the Apprehensions line, because I walked into the studio and it's just a bunch of blood niggas. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? And it's Rock, and Rock is one of my idols. But it's just like, it's just not the most comfortable session for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, as far as, and it's not to say that because I'm not in no way affiliated with the politics, but I grew up around Crips. That's what I grew up around. And it's a bunch of dudes that I don't know. They don't know me. They kind of looking at me weird and whatnot. It's love from J-Rock, because Top already told him who I am. But it's just a little weird for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little out of place. And so J-Rock, he puts on this beat, and then he starts rapping his verse already. So I feel like, damn, I'm kind of set up. Like, he already got his. Yeah, you feel me? Like, he already got a verse. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, I do my verse, and I'm recording it, and then maybe halfway through, like, me recording it, the beat stops, and Top just, like, press the button. He like, yo, youngster, I'm out of here, but it sound crazy. And he dip out. And when I finished recording it, my brother, because he was in the room with Top, he was just like, nah, Top was fucking with your verse super, super tough. You know what I mean? So we sent it to him that night. And that record is still crazy. Like, I hope we can get it out one day. But it was really just a test. I didn't even know that. You know, he just wanted to see what it was like working with me on the spot.
That's dope, man. What do you think about, like, Top now? Like, how was your interaction now with him? Like, you know, being that you're a part of the team, you're a part of the camp. Yeah. What do you, like, learn from him and kind of get out of just being around him?
Our interactions now, to answer the first part, is now I've learned that it's just a big misconception about Top. Top is actually a very cool dude, and he's very open. But you get the same mythical stance, like, because we all grew up watching TDE, that it's like, nah, don't call Top, or don't talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's just something good, like, don't talk to him, you feel me? But he's actually really, really cool. So our relationship is really, really dope now, you know what I mean? And I trust him, and I tell everybody, like, you know, Top saved my life by taking a chance on me, you know what I'm saying? And I say save my life because working a job that you hate your whole life, it's like you wasting your life at that point, you know what I mean? And but as far as what I learned from him is just strategy, like how to stay ahead of always stay 2-3 steps ahead, always keep the end in mind. If you're making a record, don't just think about the record, think about how you would push the record, what the video would look like think about everything all the way around, and just stay 3-4 steps ahead. That way, you know, you don't have to get ready when things happen. You're already ready, you know the vision, you know exactly what you're doing. And I think that when people hear the next project or the next piece of work that I put out, I think they'll see the growth in that, like just my mentality.
Is there a time frame we looking at for the new project?
I'm hoping top of the year, to be honest with you. That's what I'm hoping for. We're hoping that it's like sometime top of the year, but it's no like specific date. But we got a lot of new music though, like a lot of new music ready to go. A ton of it. Well,
that's what's up. So now tell me, obviously, you know, Kendrick is the lifeblood of TDE. And you know, I know you made a reference to something like, you know, kind of, I think it might have been in the Soul record where it was like
feel I'm the greatest.
Like, because you know that's a hard thing, right? Like Kendrick has kind of created this big shadow that like anyone under it is 100%. Like, you know, you don't want to get kind of trapped in the shadow. How do you kind of navigate that you know, that path?
That was it was funny. Moose was with me when I was making that record, and me, Moose, and Keem had always had conversations about like, if you join this label, like, you signed into the Lakers, but you got to know what that come with. You know, Magic played before you, Shaq played before you, Kobe played before you. If you trying to be Kobe, you got to come with that energy. It's all love, but you got to come with the energy that you trying to be Kobe. Or you're gonna be lost in the sauce of everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it comes with.
I remember Eddie Jones was out there. You know what I mean? Before Kobe was out, you know, Eddie Jones was there.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you could be on the Lakers, and that's all cool and good. But you can either be, you know, Fisher, or you can try to be Kobe. And so when I did that on the record, it was more of just like a friendly competition thing, letting them know like I respect everything that all of y'all have done, because in my mind, like, it's a few Kobe's on that roster, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm coming with the energy of like, I do feel like I'm one of the greatest, and I do feel like I'm just as good of a rapper as y'all are. And that's the energy that I'm coming with, you know, with all due respect. It's that type of level of intensity and competition, and I know that I have a long way to go, but I'm letting you know from day one, from the first record you hear from me, that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? And so that's what it is.
What's your interaction like with Kendrick? Like, you know, the industry kind of looks at TDE like this really close, tight-knit family, and you're the new guy coming on, so you know, it's always weird, like when you're the new guy in the room and everybody's already knowing each other.
That's real.
How was Kendrick's interaction with you? Like when you speak to him, like what is that like?
Dot was love when I first met him, but it is that you got to understand that this is a family label. Like, these dudes have known each other. Like, I joke because we got a big group chat, and I joke with Keem, and I tell him that when they joking back and forth in the chat, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, because it's all of these
inside jokes.
All these inside. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. You feel me? I have no idea. But it's that type of label that you're stepping into, where you got to understand that, you know, it comes. Everybody's cool, but it does come with the politics of, you have to mentally understand that, like, you have to get ingrained and integrated into their system. Like, this is how they do things. They're all, you know, family and whatnot, and it's hard to be trusting sometimes, because you like, this dude is pulling the strings, but he don't owe me nothing. You know what I'm saying? He owe him everything, and so that's a hard thing to understand. And it's lucky that the label's full of really good people that genuinely want to see everybody win, because it's like, you can, in a situation like that, feel like, you know, you being left on the back burner and whatnot. So for me, it's just been about like me trying to like continuously build those relationships. Like, I'm the annoying little brother. I'm gonna text you, I'm gonna call you, like, even if you don't answer me, I'm gonna keep texting you, feel me? Because I want to build that relationship with you, you know what I'm saying? And as far as me and Dot's relationship, I just go to him for advice, like, and that's what I mean, going back to even what I said on the Soul, I still respect Dot and what he's done, because every time I'm kind of on the fence about something, I send it to Dot, or I send it to Wave, and I'd be like, you know, what do you think about this? Like, you know, or Top said I need bigger records. You think this is a big record? Explain to me what a big record is. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. And I'm going to them for that advice. And one thing I respect about Dot is that he always finds a way to get back to me. Like, I text Dot the night he won the Grammy, and Dot texts me back in 15 minutes, bro. Like, I did not expect him to text me.
Right.
Like, he just won 5 Grammys. I'm watching it live.
Right.
And I text him, and he texts me back in 15 minutes. I can respect anybody that does that, because it's like, he don't owe me that. And I was just sending him the text as a congratulations. I wasn't sending it to him expecting to have a full-blown conversation.
Right.
And we really had a full-blown conversation the night he won the Grammys. And I think that he did that purposely to let me know, regardless of how close we are, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? If you need something, so that's dope.
That's fire, man. That's dope. Now I just wanted to like go into you got the State We In record. I like that record a lot.
I love that record.
The State We In.
Yeah.
And it felt like just the first verse in particular, like you mentioned Trayvon and the other, but it just felt like this is just a combination of what we as a people kind of go through in the state we in as a culture and as Black people.
Exactly.
And I thought that was interesting. I just kind of wanted to get your take, like, what do you think the state we in right now? Like, where is the state like that Black people are in this country?
Yeah. In general, and I want to go back to like kind of the first verse. So my brother actually inspired that song, which is why at the beginning I say, picture an unsuccessful athlete coaching, I don't belong here, helping niggas that didn't even have me boasting. That comes from my brother. He's coaching. He's quote unquote an unsuccessful athlete because he didn't make it to the league. Played football, didn't make it to the league. And you are now forced to help these kids that you feel in your mind, they're not even half of what I am, but I have to help them for, you know what I'm saying, like the sake of my career now moving forward. And I bring that up because that's something that I feel like a lot of Black people go through, and I feel like that's what creates this crab in the barrel mentality. Nobody wants to help each other because we all feel like I deserve what I'm trying to help you get, so nah. Like, I'm not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, or, oh, you trying to do that? No, I'm not supporting you because I'm trying to get there. And we feel like in our mind that 2 people can't win. There can only be 1 winner. And I bring that up because we all know what's going on with Trayvon, and I could speak on that for 20 minutes, but what's not spoken about enough is just Black people together and how we need to band together and help each other. Like they not gonna help us get out of what we going through. So how are we gonna help ourselves get out of this if we steady bringing each other down and then we point fingers at white people or whatever it is for them not helping us? It's like, well, we can't expect them to help us if we don't help ourselves. You get what I'm saying? And so that's what the state we in was kind of talking about. Is like, my brother went through that. Like, he's a coach and he don't want to help certain players because he's like, man, this nigga don't deserve it. Like, if I was in his position, you know what I'm saying? And we having that conversation like, bro, like, it's not about that. Like, it's about you helping this kid realize the opportunity he had, because you would have wished that if you was playing, you had somebody help you realize the opportunity you had.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Now, what do you think, is this something that we can do to kind of create that environment where it's more like less crabs in the barrel, like we more united? Because like you said, it just feels like it's every man for themselves kind of game.
Yeah, I think we got to start just rocking with each other, and that goes back to what I was talking about this new generation of rappers. Like, why are we creating that division? You get what I'm saying? Like, what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to create this division of rappers, and then because they selling records, they're going to take over and hip-hop going to die. Because we didn't teach them hip-hop. You get what I'm saying? So they like, okay, y'all don't want to teach us hip-hop, we're going to take our own thing, we're going to learn our own thing. And then they're going to learn their own thing, and then they're going to teach, they're going to rock with each other, and then this is going to grow, and it's going to be that, and then hip-hop's going to die. You know what I mean? And so what it is to stop that is we have to rock with each other. We have to support each other. I'm not saying be unrealistic and biased. Like, if you think somebody trash, and you know
call it what it is.
But it's like, we gotta rock with each other. We have to support each other. We have to do genuine things, like Keem buying 20. Like, imagine if Keem didn't buy 20 tickets to that show. Right. Like, I'm not sitting here. You know what I'm saying? But that's a genuine act of helpfulness. So it's like, it's up to me to take those same blessings and pass along to somebody else, and hopefully whoever I bless, they pass along to somebody else. And that's what we have to do. We got to keep growing and blessing each other and rocking with each other. It's not always about what you get in return. It's just about seeing somebody trying to do something and helping them out. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
I respect that, absolutely. Now, just in conclusion, man, tell me, like, where does Reason kind of go from here, right? Like I said, is you have this opportunity, you got the stage, you on the stage, what you gonna do with it? Like, how do we? Yeah,
well, for me, it's like, this is still ground zero. Like, I haven't put out no music from me being post TDE. So for me, I look at There You Have It as a head start. Like, I could have started off with my first TDE project. There You Have It kind of gave me a head start, and now people know who I am. So for me, it's just about staying consistent, continue to work hard, continue to put my trust in the people around me to help guide me and do the right things, and then just stay hungry. Like, I feel like a big thing that a lot of people love about my music is it comes from like a place of hunger and struggle. I can't get comfortable, you know what I mean? Even though I'm finally getting all this love that you dream about, it's like I got a long way to go in order to be somebody that I really want to be in this game. You know what I'm saying? So just staying hungry and motivated and continue to, you know, be me, and hopefully along the way I can work with some of these other dudes that I really, really look up to and inspire, you know, and I'm inspired by, to be able to grow and be a part of their legacy too.
All right. Well, that's respect. Yo, Reason, man, I appreciate you pulling up on me, dog.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, next time don't be disrespecting the Knicks, man. Lakers might not even make the playoffs, bro. I don't know. The ball got to put some work in, because I don't know.
I'm just a big basketball fan. You know, I was like, yeah, what's going? But nah, I do rock with Kevin Knox though. He hard. I'm a Kentucky guy, so yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
I'm rooting for y'all in a little way.
Oh, the low high. We take that. We like that. That's a bet. Hey, man, this is Najee Rap Radar Cigar Talk. My man Reason signing out. Blah.